and will be tired from all of that other point.
Amazing.
What's happening, folks? Welcome back to Street Notes. It's been a while.
What's up, dude? Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Yeah, I literally found
Today
out
I'm
about it.
photographing the sort of preparation phase of the Veterans Day Parade in Colorado Springs. This person was doing like a waving gesture, and I'm just waiting to see if they're going to do it again. And of course they did. So I'm glad I never walked away from that. I think the photo comes out kind of interesting because it's just an odd gesture, something a little different and kind of offbeat looking. You see, I have a Leica Q in my hand. Instead of shooting with the M like I usually do, I bought a Leica Q from my friend Rudy. I'm also feeling a bit rusty, so I don't think I'm getting close enough, or as close as I probably should be in this case. I got the Leica Q when I probably shouldn't have got the Leica Q. I should have just stuck with what I had already. But I'm going to give it a fair shake and I'm going to keep shooting with it until I can sort of get a fair opinion of the camera.
Morning.
Now here I thought the sort of feather things on the helmets of this band could turn into something interesting, but I never really found anything like that, so I just walked through the middle trying to see if any compositions would come up. I like the shadows on their faces, but nothing else really great came up. And straight away afterwards I noticed these bikers coming through and then this sports car in the background, and I almost thought it was kind of an interesting juxtaposition of things. Again, I probably should have been closer and this wasn't really that interesting. There's a lot of colour and graphic shapes in this scene, but just nothing really was coming together. However, I'm glad I gave it a try. I've always been trying to include Pikes Peak in the background of events that I shoot in Colorado Springs. This honestly might have been one of my favourite pictures of the day, this helmet just sitting in this nice light. Very simple, minimalist, graphic looking scene with a American flag helmet in the middle of it. This guy was standing next to a very colonial dressed guy standing next to a pink trash can and some toilets. I thought it was interesting and stood there for a second, and as I was gonna leave he actually walked up to me and ended up speaking to me for quite a long time, and turns out he spoke Gaelic, which I don't speak a word of. Most interesting thing about this picture was the sun reflecting off the top of that one flag and the person looking up at it. With the dark background and the sun coming in from the side, I thought I could get everybody's face lit up here. It kinda came out, I didn't edit this one as much as maybe I should have. I should have brightened up the highlights or something. Trying to make a very busy, complex scene here, but again, don't think it really turned into anything. But this is part of the game. This band stopped playing right as I got up to them. But that's fine, I just hung out for a second, took a few shots, I didn't really think too much of it. However, I kind of liked this shot, the way it came out. It's just the big giant white circle. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about it, but I kind of liked it.
Let's go.
The various generations of soldiers here was interesting, but I never got a good picture of them, even though I came back to them like 3 times. These guys just totally ignored me, which I appreciated. A lot of people would look at me and smile. Pike's Peak in the background again. There's all these rodeo guys that are in most of the parades in town, lining up with their horses, Pike's Peak in the background again. Then I realised I could also frame them with these other banners in the background that might sort of juxtapose what you might assume people's political leanings are with the building in the background. I think that's one of the interesting things about Colorado Springs, is how like politically diverse it is. There's a lot of purple in the town. This is the street sweeper that follows the horses. And now the parade's getting started. I'm running out of time, I'm going to have to head back home soon. But still taking some pictures as I'm walking down the parade route. Generally looking for things that are not just the people that are in the parade, looking for stuff at the side. This kid climbing the tree was a perfect example. And here in the background we have another kid climbing a tree, although this one didn't come out nearly as good. So this was about the first time that I really went out to shoot street photography seriously with the Leica Q. And I'll need to give it a little bit more time before I have some like solid thoughts and feelings on this camera, but initially I'm a little disappointed, but I don't know why I would be disappointed, because it's actually very good. But for some reason in my head, I thought it was going to be like almost exactly the same as shooting with the M, and I was going to be able to replace the M with this so that I could also shoot photos of like my kid in like low light environments and stuff when I need to focus closer and in darker places and use wider apertures without worrying about missing focus as much. And it does do that pretty well, but I don't enjoy it for street quite as much as the Leica M. But the pictures are sharper from it. It's probably got better overall image quality, all that sort of stuff. The lens is at the same settings as the Leica M. I do have a cheap Voigtlander lens on it. This is a good stop brighter at the same aperture than the Voigtlander lens is on the M. So it's got a whole bunch of pluses. It looks great. It feels nice in the hand to hold as well. But when I'm manual focusing for street photography, as I enjoy doing the most, one of the dislikes I have about it is it will go past the infinity point. So normally on the M, there's a hard stop at infinity, but the Q will just go a little bit past infinity, and that's so that you can engage it into autofocus if you want. And I think there'd be no problem really using autofocus with it, but I just find setting it to 2 meters in f11, I'll get plenty depth of field, and I'm already in focus most of the time for shots, so I don't need to think about focusing. The other thing that gets me a little bit is the time it takes to switch in live view from the back screen into the viewfinder is slower than I would like, so I ended up switching it to viewfinder only, and not even with the sensor, because even if you put your eye up to it with the viewfinder only sensor on, it still takes that little bit of lag for the viewfinder to come on. So I just would leave it on permanent viewfinder view, so it's always on, which might not be good for the battery life, but I'm going to miss shots if I'm trying to lift the camera up and shoot quickly. So that's how I left that. And if I, for whatever reason, wanted to use the live view screen, say I had to reach over something, a fence or something, to get closer to something, then I would have to press the function button to get back to that. So that was a bit of an annoyance, and one of the reasons that I realized that I liked the optical window viewfinder thing of the rangefinder over the EVF of this camera. It's not something I expected at all. I, for whatever reason, thought it wouldn't be a problem, but that's one of the annoyances. So in the end, I think what happened was, instead of me getting this and getting rid of the M, because the M doesn't see as much use now, that I get out less because I've got a child. This is turning into a ramble, I'm sorry. I am keeping the M for sure. I'm keeping this for a while. Rudy bought another one of these because he missed it already, otherwise I would have sold him this back. And I'll probably eventually either keep the Q because I like it for family and travel stuff, or, for goodness sake, Turbo. The dog's whining at the window because there's probably a cat outside. Bottom line is, I have a bit of buyer's remorse. I think I definitely could have got by with the GR for traveling stuff and walking the dog and all that. Keep the M for days where I want to go out shoot street photography, and just have a smaller, cheaper lens for the R6. Maybe like the old EF 28 1.8 would be good for shooting stuff around the house, and the Q was just overkill. And that's really what it comes down to, is the Q was overkill. So after this first day of shooting, the jury's out on whether I'm going to keep the Leica Q long term or not, but definitely going to shoot with it, make some videos with it, and yeah, at least make it worth that. Make some content with it. Good God, stopping making YouTube videos for a while makes it really hard to get back into it. I used to write down thoughts, but I'm trying to make things a little quicker and simpler now, but in the end what happens is I'm sitting here rambling, and my brain does not allow me to like make cohesive sentences when I'm talking to a camera instead of having a conversation with an actual person. Even then I probably still lose my train of thought. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.